All right, so Bitcoin has had a very volatile few days. We got a pretty large move to the downside, taking out the lows of this range, kind of putting in new lows in the downtrend that we have been in. And today we got a very aggressive move back to the upside. So what I want to do in this video is I want to run through first market structure, because some things have changed in the market structure that I marked out in the last MS video. And then I want to look at market cipher, see what kind of divergences that we saw on this move to the downside, if any, and then go over some other things that I'm seeing in terms of this larger range. So first, looking at 4-hour market structure, this is the 4-hour market structure that I had marked out, and we have now come down to put in a lower low. We took out the 4-hour lower low, and on the 4-hour time frame, we did see candle closes below the low. It wasn't a super significant break. We only closed, let's see, about maybe 0.5% below the low. So it is tough to call it a break, but since the 4-hour market structure doesn't matter as much as the higher time frame ones, I'll go ahead and just call it a market structure break. So we now have a lower low here, and it would actually be this wick because that is slightly lower. And that means that the 4-hour lower high is now this high up here. So we can take the 4-hour lower high, move this up to this high, and if we close 4-hour candles above this high, then we will transition 4-hour structure back to bullish. And this is kind of a tough ask because, this is up around the, highs, or at least the midpoint of the larger range. We just take a fixed range here. That's like right around the value area high. So that would be tough. Maybe if we, come up to put in a high and then take out the lows again, then we can get that market structure shift sooner. But for right now, the MS point is this high up here. Now looking at daily market structure, the daily lower low was also taken out, but if we go to the daily time frame, it was really only wicks, and you can see that we did technically close candles below there. Let's see how far of a move this was. Was that 0.5% move that we were looking at on the 4-hour? No, it was much less. 0.16% down below the low. And since this is a higher time frame market structure and this close was closer to the low than the 4-hour one was, I would probably call this an SFP on the daily. So essentially we wicked the lows. We couldn't really close a candle, far enough below the low to call it a genuine break. And so I'm going to call it an SFP. And that is pretty significant. On the daily, we SFP'd the last market structure point. So that could be pretty bullish. It could give us a reason to come back up towards the highs of the range. So in terms of market structure, that's really all I'm looking at. The daily has an SFP, the market structure point. The 4-hour has, most likely transition structure. I would say it has. And so now the 4-hour lower high is coming in right up here, making, a 4-hour transition of structure much easier than when it was this high up here. So a few significant developments in market structure. Nothing has changed on the weekly. Since we're on the daily, I will also point out that we do have daily divergences as we SFP this low. Not with money flow, it doesn't seem. The money flow, it's pretty much making lower lows right here. I mean, there's a little wick in the money flow right here, or, whatever you want to call it. It made a slightly lower low right here. So locally, no divergence in money flow, but the momentum is diverging. And we can look at this current momentum wave, and it's not quite there. It doesn't look like it wants to clip off just yet, but the VWAP is starting to curve back to the upside, and if we see something like this, like maybe it clips off somewhere right here, we still can see that divergence, even looking at it from this wave. As long as we put in a higher low to this wave, I would still call it a divergence. So it is significant that we got a divergence as we SFP the low, and technically, you could say we got a money flow divergence from back here. If the money flow starts to turn back around and kind of bottom out here, then we right now do have a divergence from back here since the price was higher back here. We have put in a lower low. So potentially some bottom signals there on the daily time frame, in my opinion. Looking at the 12-hour, we actually just printed this green dot. This wasn't here when I was looking at it a few minutes ago, and we do have a divergence on the 12-hour as well. So this momentum wave made a higher low, and right now the money flow is also making a higher low as price took out the low, and I would say even SFP'd it on the 12-hour. Doesn't look like we got 12-hour closes, 0.32. It's still not that far below for being such a high time frame. I'd still call that an SFP, or at least we wicked the lows with divergences, so that can give me a little bit more confidence that it was just a liquidity grab of the lows, and also considering that we have since got an aggressive move back to the upside. So I just finished recording, but I realized that I forgot something. I wanted to go to Coinalyze and show that there was a significant amount of trades that got stopped out at this low. As we wicked out that daily low, we saw this large decrease of open interest. A lot of longs getting stopped out here. You can see the CVD got a sharp move to the downside. And on the 15-minute, going back as far as Coinalyze will allow you to, you can see that this is the most aggressive decrease of open interest we have had at least since May 21st, which, when was that? That was not that long ago. But at least in the last 2 weeks or so, it was the largest decrease of open interest that we saw. So it is significant, something I wanted to talk about. We did see trades get stopped out at these lows, so this move to the downside could be justified as just being a liquidity grab. The 4-hour does not have any divergences, it doesn't look like. You could say slightly. You can say slightly from this wave, but I wouldn't really look at that. What I would look at, though, is this money flow. We do have a money flow divergence here on the 4-hour, and right now the money flow is curving back into the green, so that could be significant. Let's look at money flow on some of the other time frames. Yep, we definitely have money flow div here on the 2-hour as well. And right now money flow's turning back to the upside. No divergence with momentum, but that's okay. We got a really deep oversold wave, and I would be more concerned with the money flow anyway. So overall, we got a lot of divergences on those lows with money flow, and like I said, we have gotten a nice reaction from this, a nice aggressive move away, and we are right now back inside of the value area of the range. I was looking at the value area on Bybit. I believe it's a little different, so let's look at that. And even on Bybit, we are back inside of the value area low. So I wouldn't say that we've found acceptance in the range yet. For that, I would either, probably want to see us hold the value area low as support or get above the point of control. At that point, I'd probably say we got acceptance. Or maybe if we just range, like if we put in maybe a significant high range for a little bit, kind of put in a higher low and then break structure, maybe then I can say we got acceptance. But right now we've just wicked into the range, so I would want to see if we're able to hold inside of here now, or if we're just going to kind of get rejected from the lows. But overall, we are seeing some bottom signals. We have gotten a nice move back into the range. And I think, the most significant thing, again, would be the SFP of the market structure point on the daily. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video. Just wanted to go over some of the more macro developments that have gone on. I might make a video later going into some specific levels I'm looking at. I have to go through and really mark out those levels for myself. So once I do that, I might make another video. But for now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support. And I will see you all in the next one.